It's in the cloud. It's here forever.
Yeah, it's in the cloud. It's up there. So you had an interesting week this week, and you hit me on the bat signal. And you was like, you know what, man, we need to dig back into. We don't need to move too quickly. We need to get back into setting the proper expectations. And so I was like, you know what, you lead the charge, man. You lead the charge and let us know where we need to go. And so I think you wanted me to say something about milestones, right? Setting milestones. What did you mean by that, Tev?
Man, this week I wanted to get back to the basics. I had, like you said, an interesting week. We keep it transparent with the audience, right? I got fired by one of my clients this week.
Oh no.
And reason being, it was just a lot of miscommunication. And from a consumer perspective, this is big. This is a big process. It's the biggest investment you guys have made, and you do it once every 5 years if you're lucky. But for the first-time home buyers, you never made a purchase of this magnitude, and you don't understand what that process is like. All right, and that's where we come in, because we do this very frequently. You know, most of us are working with multiple clients per month, so we know how to maneuver this process. And that's why we talked about this last week. Find someone that you know, like, and trust, and allow us to walk you through this process and kind of protect you, because your emotions are going to get involved. Your anxiety is going to flare like that. That's what this process does to the best of us. So setting the proper expectations mitigates that issue. Like I said, you're going to be anxious either way. Like I had, when I started with you, Rob, my now wife was probably one of my more difficult clients, because she was just really anxious. I told her, we got you. We're going to take every step. I got you every step of the way. But the anxiety is there, because it's the unknown. Like, I don't know what's next. You got my down payment, you got my bank statements, you got my tax returns, you got my W-2. I don't know what's next. So they just expect to get to the closing table. And that's not quite how it goes. There's a process in place. So in terms of those expectations, we start with a proper application. And I know we're back to talking about documentation. Once again, it's week 3. But this is where everything happens. When you get that proper application in with those supporting documents, we're able to provide you with a pre-approval. It's the first milestone, guys. That pre-approval is worthy of celebration. That's the first big step. Look, I break it down with my clients. I say it's the second milestone, because the application is so important. Give me my documents. Pre-approval in my eyes, look, that's the second milestone, guys. It's a big deal. Even bigger deal is the contract. Like I said, we chopping this thing up into bite-sized pieces that you can understand. So you don't have to think about initial underwriting or clear to close when you just got a pre-approval. Like, let's take it one step at a time. And this is something that a lot of companies, I know, Rob, you with American Mortgage Bank, you keep your borrowers involved in the process by celebrating these milestones with them and highlighting where they are in the process. Once again, all in an attempt to mitigate the anxiety that comes with it. Am I right?
That you're most definitely correct, man. And to your point, and on the screen, man, I know you kind of hit pre-approval and contract, and these are the other steps that we may not get into in depth tonight. But to your point, man, setting the proper expectations for us as professionals, these are some steps that you're going to go through, right? But Tev, we would be remiss if we did not put the proper respect on these steps. I have a spreadsheet with these steps. These 9 steps, if my math is mathing, to get you from that pre-approval, that's the part we handle, right, Tev?
Yes, sir.
Contract is realtors. Okay.
Yeah.
Option period, and I'll end there. Option period is that limbo time in which you may or may not purchase the home, right, Tev?
Yeah. You get that kind of a recession period. You can make that decision to say, hey, I don't want to move forward with this. Just more time for you to make an informed decision.
Yeah. And do your due diligence, right? That inspection and things of that nature. And so,
absolutely.
And so we don't want to be premature and start the initial underwrite until we know for sure that you know that you're going to move forward.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And that's very important, because one day past the option period, what happens to their money, Tab?
Oh yeah, it's locked in. That earnest money deposit is now pretty much a product of the deal. You know, you don't get that back, and you start to become more and more liable for legal action at that point if you don't move forward with said verbiage in the contract.
Right, right. So to your point, and I'll let you get back on it, man. Just those 3 steps right there, right?
Mhm.
If Tevin and I have done our job properly, okay, we have no bearing on how long it's going to take you to find a home. That's the realtor professional part, right?
Correct.
But I know that folks that we work with, they're very proficient. They're just like us. They have systems in place
Mhm.
because they're leaning on our acumen to make sure that you've been properly approved
Right.
before you go out. And so that's why we keep coming back to step 1, right? Because we don't put enough respect on it. And I don't know what happened with the deal, but you know what, bro? You're not loan officer until you get fired. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a part of the process. And I don't mean that tongue in cheek. I understand you got to take care of your family,
Mhm.
but if you really go back and look at that situation, that pre-approval step probably wasn't done properly.
We were honestly, Rob, we were cutting some corners. And it was a thought process in the beginning because in my eyes, we talked about this last week as well. You care so much that every time you get in that bat, you want the best for this family. Like I'm getting to know this guy's kids and his wife and where they've been over the past few years and knowing how this has been a desire that's been on his heart, but he hasn't been able to because he never got pre-approved. So now I'm like, all right, if I can just do this and I can just do that, well, I'm gonna get him that pre-approval that he's been wanting for his family. So it's more than a transaction at that point. So at that point, I'm thinking, okay, as long as he can come up with X amount of dollars, if the deal's short, I'm gonna figure out a way to I'll solve that. I want him in this home. So you're right. In a moment where I should have been screening more, I was focused on the passion behind what it is that we do, and it's a gift and a curse. It's a
And
gift and a curse.
and shout out to you, man. That's why you're gonna be, and you've been successful, and you're gonna continue to be because you care, right?
Mhm.
In a time and place that we live in now, where we got a lot of Nino Browns out here. They just slinging that rock,
Oh
right? But with that being said, with all of those attributes that we have, because I care too much too,
yeah. Mhm.
right? And a lot of times we have to move in good faith, right? Because clients don't understand the intricacies. Back to my point, and I'll throw it back to you.
Mhm.
My checklist, right, for my company, right? Because I partner with American Mortgage Bank, right? I don't know about you, but they don't send you no checks unless you close some loans.
Oh yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
So, but the spreadsheet, the checklist, the business that helps these customers make this process seem easy, right? To date, 1,031 steps.
Whew.
Because
Wow.
we do it all over here.
Oh yeah.
We're from the rooter to the tutor.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, but we have to start educating more. And that's why I love these platforms, because guys, because he cares, because he wants to get you to the finish line. I love what you said last week. Home ownership is to be celebrated, but it's not an entitlement, right? And we have guidelines, we have steps. I got 1,031. I'm not the average bear. Okay.
Mhm.
And I know going forward, you're going to continue to be you, because it's not on you, it's in you, right? But you're going to use these lessons, right? Because that's how we learn. We learn via lessons, but you're going to stick to those protocols a little more. So I know we were talking. I know you said going forward, yeah, sometimes clients don't have everything that we need right then, but we're going to put a 24-hour turn time on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we talked about the importance of that 24-hour turn time. We need the urgency behind everything that we excuse me, everything that we ask for, because every single time you don't provide something and we don't get it to the processor and we don't get it to the underwriter, you're adding time to that duration of time it takes to get from contract to closing. And
Yes.
as loan officers, we pride ourselves on getting that done as quickly as possible. But it's not just about speed; it's about accuracy. And we can't make those mistakes because it could cost you in the end.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So guys, when we ask for something, okay, you got to have that sense of urgency. I say it like this: one day in our business is equivalent to 5 working days.
Right,
It,
right.
it, it really is. 30 days goes by so quickly,
Hmm.
right? And so you may be like, I'll get it to them, or I feel like I'm gonna have the money, or I'll have the money in 30 days, but on the application, you said you had $10,000, right?
Right. Right.
So that's why we go through the process. I know over here, and I know you're going to get there too, man, right? Hey, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. No disrespect.
Right. Right.
No disrespect. Because I understand, client, if you're saying, okay, well, I'll have it in 2 weeks. Well, I need to know that. Right? So
Yeah.
you can have it in 2 weeks, but that dictates how I'm going to deal with the folks that I consider my customers. So my underwriter is my customer.
Mhm.
And see, I'm an underwriter.
Right.
I underwrite your file before it gets there because we all use automated underwriting software, AUS.
Yep.
LP, DU, right? Gus for VA. Okay. So if we know what we're doing and we know, right? He wouldn't be on the screen, right? If he wasn't leaning mean, right? I used to be leaning mean. I'm still mean, right? So we guideline goats over here. Okay. You got to listen or trust your professional. Okay. It's not a combat. And here's where I am with it, Tev. You tell me where you are.
Mhm.
If you're gonna tell me how to do this, man, you need to go deuces.
Go get the license, man.
You feel me? I ain't at Popeye tell you how to fry the chicken.
Right.
I pull up to the drive-thru. Let me get that spicy 2-piece.
Gotta get this spicy.
Right. Let me get that biscuit. That's what's wrong with me. I love them biscuits.
Right.
But I ain't in there trying to tell you how to cook the chicken.
Right.
And it's tongue in cheek, guys, but it's serious, right? Because there's a sense of urgency. So my underwriter is my customer, right? They love me everywhere I go, right? Because I treat them how I would like to be treated, right? So talk to me about patience and understanding. That sounds like a R&B, huh? Love and happiness.
I was about to say that. There's got to be a song title.
Yeah. How do they need to have understanding, man? And understand it's not personal.
Look, that's the foundation of it all. Like, once again, you start with know, like, and trust the professional that you're going to choose. You follow that up with setting these proper expectations. We're just trying to prepare you to walk through this thing with us. And that there may be some ahas, there may be some gotchas, but let us take care of it. Because understanding that we're working on your behalf and that we have your best interest at heart is going to create the patience. Because you don't have to react to everything. Like, when you don't have to counter every punch. Some of them you're going to go with. And if you trust the person that you're working with to understand guidelines, know the process, and understand how to maneuver it to the closing table, well, you don't have to react when things get difficult because you trust us to figure it out. And every single client doesn't get that, but that's why we need to have platforms where the people that we've worked with can say, hey, this process was really smooth. Hey, I had questions, he answered them. Hey, I called him, he picked up the phone. Like, if I do it enough, then allow me to have set that platform to where you understand how I work, and then let me work.
Right. And things like we're doing now, you're exactly right? YouTube, right? If the numbers show, Tev, and most of you millennials are going to shop for 9 months. And I love that because you guys want the information, but it also says when you're ready to pull the trigger, you want somebody that's going to communicate with you, walk you through the process. So how does somebody do that while they're trying to vet, right? We old church guys over here, script, judge a tree by the fruits that it bears, right?
Right.
Go to my YouTube, check out these Facebooks. There's a reason we're on here. And like my wife says all the time, let time do its job. Time will tell.
No, I agree. And I love that. Like I said, it's you become a familiar face. We're breathing the same fire, the same message. You see the same passion every single week. And when you hear us talking about these things, it's with a certain level of conviction. And that's because we believe in what we're doing. So it's just back to the basics, man. That's what this week is about. Let's get back to the basics. Let's create a clean environment and an energy and an atmosphere where people trust us. You know what you want, and we're just the ace that's in the place to help you get there. And just let us do our job.
There it is, man. And I threw this one in here, right? Because at one point in time, man, I thought it was MMA. you understand? And that's one thing I love about you. Let me give you your flowers. And I learned, and I'm learning so much. And he's smooth. You smooth, bro. You smooth, Doc. You smooth. Okay.
Appreciate you.
So I like the way you communicate, and even some of our personal conversations. I'm like, I had to come back and apologize, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just me, right? But that's not an excuse, and that's for all of us because we got to get better, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to get better. So it's not personal, and I got to give you the same kind of respect that I expect in return. Some of you customers are line steppers.
Right.
I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you, right? Check this out. We don't get paid until you walk into the home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm motivated. I don't need any other motivation, but I need you. What I need some understanding.
Right. Right.
I need you to what they say? Communicate, understand what I say.
Mm-hmm.
And then I need you to trust me. If you don't trust me, and I'm speaking for me, I'll let Mr. Goggins speak for himself. Because I have processes in place, even with my realtors, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a professional. There's something in this transaction that's going to go awry. You never hear about it
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a pro, right?
Right.
Relax. And I'm going to over-educate, over-communicate. I expect the same in turn. When I ask you for your gift or your donor's bank statement,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to get in your business.
Right.
The Patriot Act, way back in 9/11, says that they're trying to fight money laundering.
Mm-hmm.
We need the 30-day snapshot. Why do we need that? It's not because of you, but it's because the ones behind you took the money and deposited it in the account,
Mm-hmm.
right? And said the donor get somebody. That's why we have rules, because somebody broke them.
Right.
So we can waste 3 days for me trying to explain that to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do what it is that the professional is advising you to do, so we can celebrate.
Right. Right.
At your home closing. Ain't that right, Ted?
That's all we want, man. And you said it. We're motivated by the closing. So all of our biggest desire in this process is aligned because we don't get paid until you do. We're not salaried employees, and we're not working at on a 40-hour work week, so we get paid whether you close or not. Like, no, we're motivated to get you to the closing table for multiple reasons. The biggest one, that's what feeds our family. But more importantly, we show other people that are potentially getting into this market that we're able to take this situation and get it to the promised land. So it's important.
There it is, man. So we getting ready to come around the corner. Before we leave, not to cut you, I want to give them some data, man, because we get a lot of these shows and a lot of folks are talking, right? So what we're going to start doing, we're going to spoon feed you, but we want to give some data as to why we're so passionate about home ownership in our communities, okay? But before we do that, just recap, right? This is a 10,000 foot view from when you apply and get properly pre-approved. Fill out the application. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's why we're here. But the documentation needs to be sent timely and accurately. That's on you, right? Approval's on us.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, contract. That's what you and your realtor. We want to give our realtor partners a proper approval, especially in these times because we have different negotiating strategies. It's tight out here, right? So we want to make sure we have that checked off. From there, it's back on you. This is the time that you figure out if you want this house or not via the option period. Advise everybody to get one, and it costs some money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gotta have some money.
Right.
We ain't even got to the closing cost yet. This is just see if you want the house.
Right. Right.
Initial underwrite, final underwrite, clear to close, closing, then funding. All of that, if you follow the process of whoever it is that you know, like, and trust, after you get a home should take no longer than 30 days unless there's an issue with the property, which we have no control over.
Correct.
Would you agree with those steps, Ted?
No, 100%. That this is a natural progression in the process that we know, like, and love, and we've seen every single factor in that data that you just showed. Like that is the process.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with that, let's give us some data, man.
Okay.
This is why that process matters. Okay. This is U-Haul. Everybody heard of U-Haul. If you're online, put a 1 in if you heard of U-Haul. If you haven't, I don't know where you've been.
Right.
But
Under a rock.
Yeah, under a rock. They're a moving company. So every year they bring out their migration report. Okay. So U-Haul growth states they have a very good insight, I think we would agree, on who's going where, who's moving. So it says right there again, for those of us in Texas, you see that, Tab?
Look, we was a part of that stat. I got to show my wife this. We part of the statistics in here.
So it's real,
It's
right?
true.
So point I'm trying to make is from 2011 up until this year, Texas has been on that list, either one or two.
Wow.
So this is U-Haul, right?
Mhm.
And you can just kind of see, let me go scroll down. I don't mean to make you dizzy, but Texas, Florida, right? South Carolina, North Carolina. I like to, let everything be established with 2 or 3 witnesses, right? So here go American Van Lines, competitor, right? The blue states are where people are moving. Look at the red states. That's where they leave, right?
Right.
Cali, the coastal states, New York, right? Illinois, for whatever reason. Not getting into politics or anything of that nature, but the point is economics 101, supply and demand. So we already have a shortage. This is what I want to show. Let me quit talking. This is the Economic Policy Institute. Let's give attribution. Published July 14, 2022. Okay. The growing housing supply shortage has created a housing affordability crisis. I'm not going to bore you. You guys have been on and you've seen other videos. Check out the YouTube. I explained to you why this is in 2008. The crux of the matter is there's a shortage of homes. If you're in the millennial generation, you guys are the largest cohorts since the baby boomers. They skipped over us, right?
Right.
So every year until 2035, depending on who you're listening to, you guys have thousands of you all that are forming households. Didn't you just buy a house, Tev?
Oh yeah, we just purchased. It's been just over a year.
Why did you form a household? Why did you need a house?
Growing family.
Man, there it is. That's it, right? Growing family. So there's a ton of you guys, but you're challenged with student loans. Some of these car loans, we're going to talk about that another time. But it's through the roof. And guess what, guys? Normal interest rates is not 3%.
No more.
Okay. And they've never been normal. That's because of the situation that we're in. So said all that to say, and I'll put these links if you want them. This is why we're so passionate about you applying correctly. Because you got competition. Just did a video last week. I didn't even talk about the hedge funds in Wall Street that is now saying, you know what? There's money in single family residences. And companies like America for Home, they're building whole subdivisions for rent. So if you're somebody that wants to buy, it is imperative to find someone, first of all, that you know, like, and trust, right? And then from there, you need to let them make the chicken. Cook the fish, burl the crawfish, whatever you eat.
Let them do their job, right?
And you need to follow suit because they come into the South. And some of these places that y'all are living in, even over in Houston, man, I know folks I've been talking to for 5 years, they wait, trying to get. Now you can't buy.
No, it's over. It's over.
Right? Because the median is 300 plus. If you're in a place where it's still 200, get in where you fit in. 2/3, and I'm through, of America's wealth, right? I know we got the renaissance, especially in our community, right?
Right.
Before you could be Warren Buffett, just get the crib. Start first things first. I'm through, Tev. I'm preaching. Go ahead, bro.
No, look, I love where you're taking it, man. This is one of the biggest wealth vehicles, and because it's so attached to most every other person's wealth, it lets you know that we're that important. We're that important because we have access to a very popular vehicle in wealth. We're not just residential home loan originators. Like, we help you get wealth. So allow us to do our jobs, because this process is more than you getting keys at the end of closing. This process is appreciation and values of your home. This process is, the increase of your net worth as you start to. This process is refinancing your loan and paying off some debts and sending your kids to college because you made this decision, 15 years ago. There's way more to it than just a home.
That part. And then you could do all the other provocative things, right? Let's knock out the first thing for Tev. It's as always, man. I think we hit it on the mark. What you think?
No, I think this was great information, man. It's comical, so they come back because they want to laugh with us. But I think the intentionality behind what we're trying to push and the importance of home ownership and the fact that it's not something to be taken lightly and this process is important. I think over the past couple of weeks we've gotten that point across.
And we'll continue to do so, Lord willing. We'll be here Thursday, 7 p.m. Right?
Mhm.
Y'all
Yes,
ride with us, grow with us. Tell a friend. Okay. Don't be a hater all your life. Right? Share. Sharing is caring, as they said. All joking aside, we would love to help you. Right? We both lend nationwide or multiple locations. You know how to reach out to either one of us. There's no competition here. I want this brother to succeed and vice versa.
Yes,
Right?
sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
I'm going to resonate with some. He's going to resonate. That's why I got some younger blood on here. Right? And so reach out if home ownership is what is on your mind, because just like everything else, man, opportunities don't last always.
They do not.
You got to take advantage. So with that, and my co-loan officer, partner in crime, Mr. Tevin Goggins, our time is up. But we thank you for yours. Hey guys, check this out. Tevin and I, this is something we always say. Let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. And until the next time, peace. Y'all be blessed.